All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel, and we are a bunch of sickies around here. That's right. We got the average everyday home cold that we used to get when I was a kid, and it is one of these wondrous things that is actually, I'm not kidding, when I say an average everyday cold is a wondrous thing. Why do I say this? I say this because you get to witness the miracles of a human body and the immune system that we have been given from our Creator. Now, that goes along with the greatness of the blessings of every time that we take a breath of air in, we have a blessing. Not only has our Creator given us a body that functions and works as is promised, but we also have a way and a soul that we have been given that we are told to protect and that we are told to guard. And we need to make sure that when we are doing this, there's only one way, according to Scriptures, that any of us are able to protect and guard our souls. And that is by keeping a covenant path with our Creator. There is a very exciting road. There is something that we have been given, and we've been lied to across the world, where people tell us these are hardcore laws, these are things of bondage, when in fact the instructions of our Creator are so great and so miraculous that we have just a blessed moment in time even having these and understanding them, because the first 5 books of Scriptures are the books where the instructions of our Creator come alive, and they come to us and they tell us and they define how it is our Creator wants His people to walk, how He wants them to behave, how He wants them to operate, how He wants them to worship. And that is why we are all hanging out today on the Sabbath day, which is an appointed time of our Creator. And it is a glamorous encounter. It is a glorious meeting that I can hang out with all of you guys. And even though we are 3 of the 5 of us are somewhat sick, we are still here and we are happy to be here. Now, my sicky kid, can you please open us in prayer, Mr. K?
Gracious Father, and thank you for this day, and you're blessing us, and thank you for bringing us all together once again. I ask that your Torah, your word, is light to our eyes, that your Torah is a blessing to us. Thank you for Shabbat. Thank you for all. In Yeshua's name, amen.
All right, there we are. Now, Jaden, will you please bless our family? Eli, are you getting here?
All right. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words that I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children. I shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign in your hand, and they shall be as fronts between your eyes. You write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
Beautiful. And so here we are, everybody. These are the laws. And I wouldn't even call them laws. I think it gives them a bad name when you say laws, because they are basically instructions. They are things that if you want to keep, your life will be better. If you want to not keep them, by far your life will be far, far worse. All right, so let us get into where we're going with this. Miss Nicole, do you want to say hi to all our brothers and sisters real quick?
Yep. All right. So we have Cindy LJ and Ollie. Well, say hi to Ollie when you see him. And then we have Candy and Ruby, Joanna, Razul, Charles, Sarah Baker, Tess, Sister Barb, and we have Kyle Red Fox. He's new, so welcome.
What's up, Kyle?
I have Cover to Cover. We have Jeremy and Callan, Rick Johnson, Sylvia, I'm scrolling, Walking His Ways, Honeymoon Stitch, Brian, Elizabeth, and the Grand just popped in. I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody, I apologize.
Okay, so here we are, guys. Thank you guys very, very much for being a part of this reading as we are going to go through this. The first thing that we're going to do is go through the law, statutes, and commandments. And these are a beautiful set of guidelines. These are what we should govern our lives by. They are what we will be, it's what will be used to see if we are candidates for the kingdom to come. Basically, what Scripture says is that if we are walking in what we're about to read, if we have changed our life, that our lives will not pass through this, that we will not walk through this life without keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Our Creator has said He will walk with us and He will give us this path to the future. So let us begin right here, and let's see if we can make it through this. My sicky kids, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Jade's the only one who's not sick. He's the oldest one. He's the one that when there's double portions, he lets us know the double portions should go to him.
I'm not sick either.
Mom, and this Nicole's not sick either. All right, let's roll. And thanks for hanging out, Kyle. He says I love listening from different views. Hallelujah. Yeah, and this is I don't know if this is a different view. This is what we call a covenant path view, and so these are what we'll find right here is incredible. Let us begin. Number 1, be fruitful.
Number 2, multiply.
Replenish the earth, subdue it, having over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
Can you speak up? I can barely hear you over the raspy of your voice.
That's not nice.
Just
The
kidding.
earth bearing every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
That's your sin. Every clean within that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood. Walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, tell you commandments.
Jubs, you and I better do this too.
Yeah.
These guys sound like they're at an old person's home or something. Okay, let's go.
He says it's different from a Christian view.
Oh, absolutely. This is different than the Christian view. But my brother, these are amazing, amazing commands. Now, if you find anything while we're reading them and you have any questions from this different perspective, let us know. Because I've never found any of these that aren't great. These are absolutely amazing. Okay, every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, the festival of Matzah.
There's one Torah for the stranger and one for the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat day, the Sabbath day.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors.
Do not make an altar from rock that tool is touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with beast.
No sacrifices to other gods.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false reports.
Do not follow a multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress the stranger, love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feasts of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make or use this anointing oil on a normal person, and do not use this perfume on a normal person. These are some concoctions that we've been given, recipes in scriptures, and we're told not to actually remake these things. Okay,
Do not eat the fat.
do what you say you're going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
The Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with the taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult a medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Here we are, guys. Do not walk in the manners of the nations. I'm going to pop over here, and we just celebrated well, we didn't celebrate anything. I know that everybody out there has celebrated a festival of, I don't know, I guess a thankfulness or something of the sort, Thanksgiving Day. And so we have one of these things that a lot of people said, hey, happy Thanksgiving. And I'm like, well, I don't actually keep this because it's one of these things. It's not in. We're not told to keep things like this. In fact, this is absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, walking in the manners of the nation. Now, you can say, well, it's not a day like this. It's just I'm thankful to God. And that can be, but when you actually learn about the actual origins of Thanksgiving, the origins of Thanksgiving comes down to us literally burning alive a whole group of Indians, and it was about a year or two later where they declared the very first Thanksgiving. So the entire premise of a Thanksgiving is not what everybody thinks. And if you think it's like Sacagawea out there helping Lewis and Clark or something of the sort, it was not like that. And so that's what it means to walk in the manners of the nations. Now, we're having more manners of the nations coming up. We have well, not Sol Victus, but we have it's the 25th of Christmas, which is the last day of a very, very satanic Saturnalia. That's what it is. Saturnalia. So we have basically December 25th, and the day that Nimrod, the basically the king of the earth back in the days, that was his birthday. And so we have all of these satanic things, and everybody's like, well, I'm just worshiping Jesus. I just want to celebrate Jesus' birthday. Well, more than likely, he was probably born closer to 9/11 is the actual date of this when you look into this. And so if you are holding on to Thanksgiving, if you're holding on to Christmas, if you're holding on to Easter, all of these things, these are the manners of the nation. We're told not to walk in them, and the reason we're told not to walk in them is every single time that anybody in Scriptures walked amongst the nations, they always got burned. They always got hurt. From the days of Joshua, when Joshua made a covenant with the people of the nations, nobody was ever able to shake that out of there. And so when we walk in the manners of the nations, then we're going to get enticed by the manners of the nations. We're going to fall in love with a woman from the nations, and then we're going to basically be out of covenant. We're going to be out of Torah, and there's not going to be a way for us. And so the people of our Creator, we look different, we smell different, we taste different. You're not going to find us celebrating October 31st or hanging out, hanging mistletoe and all that satanic stuff, or having the Christmas tree, which is the phallus. It is the private parts of Nimrod. That is why you have a Christmas tree. This is why they have this, because after Nimrod was killed and his wife was trying to get all his pieces back together, the only piece they couldn't get was the Christmas tree piece. And so they put the Christmas tree out there, and they have balls on it, and they adorn it with gold and they silver. And then you have children that get on their knees under the phallus of Nimrod, and they open their gifts, and they celebrate a time that's what we call nation walking. That is what we call looking exactly like the nations. And it's something we do not want to get our kids into, or if we're into this, we got to separate ourselves from it. And I know there's a lot of you guys that are still at that verge. You're like still celebrating this, and it's hard to separate yourself from the nations because all of our families are in it, right? And Boss Clan, us, we lost all of our families when we stopped celebrating Thanksgiving and Easter and all this other stuff. When everybody's always sending everyone eggs and all this stuff. Now we're the weirdos, right? Now we're the really weird people. These guys don't even celebrate Christmas. That are so weird. Yeah, and it took a few years for us to understand that the isolation wasn't necessarily that they hated us, but that we were so different that they didn't want to be around us. And so we don't even get calls on Christmas. We don't make calls on Christmas. It's just an everyday moment of time for us as well. Okay, continuing on. Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, the Pentecost.
Keep the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shimni Atzeret, and Shimni Atzeret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
There's a big one, right? Imagine this, right? Imagine sitting down watching a Hollywood movie. Guys, even though they say God, they say OM, that word, they still think it is the name of our Creator. So you can't go to a movie that has anything in there like that because you are blaspheming the name of the Creator of the universe. Even though his name's not God, they think it, they don't know any difference on that. And so these are things that if you did such a thing back in the day, you got killed, right? They picked up the rocks. If you're sitting here cussing, using our Creator's name as a, then the rocks would start coming to your head. That's just the way it is. We absolutely need to have all the respect in the world to our Creator. We need to understand that He has given us a wonderful life. And I will encourage those if you even have any vision whatsoever, you're blessed. You can still hear one iota of what I'm saying out either one of your ears, you're still blessed. If you're able to suck in the wind and you still have breath and you're not dead, this is all blessing our Creator has given to us, and He doesn't owe us anything. The bottom line is that we owe Him everything, and the only way that we can ever give back to Him is if we are in covenant with Him, if we are obedient to His ways, if we put value on the first 5 books of Scriptures. That's the covenant path. It's not that we just put value on it. It's that we show our faith by our works. We walk the Torah and we walk it as perfectly as we possibly can. And when we fall short of it, we repent and we make changes in our life so that this does not happen again. That's why it's very important that we understand what the Torah is and know the Torah, because when it comes down to the end of days, when we're being judged by the Torah, and we say we don't know the Torah, but yet we've had Scriptures by our bedside for our entire life, or on our phones, or somewhere that we could, without being a lazy people, we could simply read it and try to understand it, but most people don't care. So all of these commands are very, very important. If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another. Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yobel, Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you've trespassed against.
The law of being a Nazir.
Wear tzitzits on the 4 corners of your garments.
The law of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's Torah, law of inheritance.
The law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add and do not take away from the word. Very, very important, guys. If you are in anything, you are in a religion, and I'm not going to even say what denomination, because it doesn't matter. If your religion is different than the first 5 books of Scriptures, then we have to say the religion is wrong. If we are doing things like keeping a Sunday worship when our Creator says to keep the 7th-day Sabbath, then we have to look at the doctrine of our religion and say, why are we trumping the words of our Creator? So anytime that we run into anything that we don't know of, we simply go to the Torah. We go to the first 5 books of Scriptures and find out how our Creator wants us to handle this particular situation. And this particular situation right here is that we are told never to add to and take away from the word. So all of these times that we're hanging out at Christmas, or hanging out all these pagan holidays at these so-called churches, the circus of the world, that's wrong. We should not be doing that. And that takes us to the next one, which is very, very important, which is the only thing that we can ever take out of this world, and that is our soul. If we do not protect our soul, if we do not harness the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator, then we will never be able to guard our soul. Guarding our soul is knowing that there is a right and a wrong, and knowing exactly what that means. And a lot of people don't know what sin is. When you come out of religion and you ask people what is sin, they'll say, the 10 moral laws or the 10 commandments. But then you bring up the 4th commandment, which is to keep the Shabbat day. And they will tell you, based upon man-made doctrines, that it's now the Lord's day. Jesus died, and now we can worship any day we want, which is absolutely true. We can worship any day we want, but we need to make sure that when we're worshiping any day we want, that we are absolutely worshiping on the 7th day, which we're called to worship on. And yeah, we can worship any day we want, but the actual day of Sabbath where we are called to rest, we're not called to work, we have rules and regulations for this day. And it's very important, because once we start keeping Shabbat, everything becomes better. Life becomes better. Okay, learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Let's take a look at that real quick. If you can, honestly, people will say, I love God with all my heart, mind, and soul, and I love my neighbor as myself. That's all the Torah, right? That's what they will say, because that is what we have been indoctrinated with. If that sounds familiar, like you've just heard this before, it's because I'm pulling it out of religion. I'm pulling it out of man-made doctrine. And if you are honest with yourself and really truly love your Creator with all your heart, but you hate the first 5 books of Scriptures, you put no value on it, then is that true love? If he says a whole bunch of words, and I'm talking he is in Yahuwah Elohim Most High, if he's saying a bunch of words to us and we don't know them, we ignore them, do we truly love our Creator with all our heart? It's just a question to y'all out there. Okay, bind the Torah laws upon your hand and the frontlets of your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do not do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do what
is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
bring that back. Okay, do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah. Very, very important. Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes. Guys, I got to bring up dear old mom. Dear old mom, man, this is, my mom has been a Christian. She's now like 70-some years old. She's been a Christian forever. How old is she?
75.
75 is what my wife says. And so, dear old mom, I've been working and working and working. And any of you who've been hanging out with us for a while, you guys know the story of dear old mom. Not only does dear old mom think that the first 5 books of Scriptures are a joke, but dear old mom loves jokes that attack me because of this. So here's what it was. Yesterday I was calling dear old mom, which I do every Friday, try to see how she's doing. And she says something like this. She's like, you'll never guess what I'm going to do tomorrow. Guys, yesterday was Friday, right? Today's Shabbat. And I'm like, Mom, let me guess. You're going to serve your Creator with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your soul, and you're going to take the day off and be with Him. And she puts her hands together, starts shaking, putting them together. Like, you think of the guys, the evil guys on TV that will go, whoa. She's like, I'm going to decorate for Christmas. And I'm like, oh, and she thought that was the funniest thing to tell me. I'm like, oh, that's horrible, Mom. She's like, and she knows we don't do Christmas. She knows we don't do the satanic anything like this. And I don't know if the devil's in her, which it probably is. But when she dies and ends up in hell, she has absolutely, without a shadow of doubt, done this to herself. I don't know how many years now I've been mocked and basically just laughed at like the laws of our Creator are a ginormous joke, as she will take everything I say. She'll take it to her 501c3 10% wages of all the people paid deceiver pastor. And he was like, oh no, he's in Maryland, the laws are gone. You don't need to worry about this. And she believes this guy over even Scripture. She won't read the Scriptures for herself in that context. But yet the sad thing is, all my entire life, every single morning at like 7 in the morning, she gets up and reads one chapter of Scriptures her entire life. And for 75 years, she has done this, and she has never been able to put 2 and 2 together and realize that these laws, statutes, and commandments are for all times, all generations, all people. And those who are not keeping them, Matthew 7 says, Messiah Yahushua says, depart from me, go to hell. That's what he very clearly. We're stuck in this conundrum of doing what is right in our own eyes, and it's not good. Poor mom. What do you got?
Sister Barb just said she's under a spell, and it's chanted into them through music of that season. That is a funny thing. Let me tell you something else about music that I didn't notice till the other day. We do this little market thing on Tuesday where we go to what they call a gringo market, and that's right. We're the only. It's for white folks. That's essentially what it is. But the music that was coming on, it was the 80s music. And as we do the job, we set up tables, we do it. We're like the circus guys. We set up all the tents and all the stuff for all the people. But as noticing the people come in, there were music, and it was all about the same 80s music. And I saw 5 people, and they, by themselves, just in their own thoughts, just start dancing and start going around to this 80s music. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, these guys are all under a spell. I said, I think all of this. And, when you think about this and you think about any genre of music, I don't think there is a genre of music that is Kodesh. I just haven't been able. We used to follow a gal named Becca Shea, and we always thought she was great. And then she started putting out albums with the All-Seeing Eyes. She started sending us postcards from Washington, D.C., telling us about the monuments and all this crazy stuff. And we had donated to her a long time ago for one of her albums, and she started sending us all this junk, and I'm like, wow, nobody is who they are. And so when it comes to any of this stuff, doing what is right in our eyes, listening to this kind of filthy music, celebrating pagan holidays and rejoicing, I agree with Sister Barb. My mom is under a spell, and it makes my stomach churn as it's the biggest joke to her. Like, this is the funniest thing ever, that she is going to decorate on the day we're supposed to rest. And, she's like, I'm the idiot, right? So it's messed up. Continuing on. Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing. Speaking of that, she told me yesterday, she's like, oh yeah, my stepdad, she's like, Eddie didn't like turkey. We don't eat turkey. We bought this huge pig, and we've just been consuming this thing for days on end. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm like, I know I'm related to her somehow. I don't know exactly how at this point, because we have obviously taken completely separate roads, and it's very, very sad. She knows I am anti-pork, anti-unclean food, and she will always tell me how her freezers are full of this, how they love it. And it's just like there's no regard. There's really no respect for the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. And we have commandments about guarding our soul, fearing our Creator, not messing around with this stuff. And then we have all this rules and regulations that we're supposed to follow, yet nobody gives a rip. Continuing on. You shall give to a stranger a clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
The laws of the end of the 7-year release.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the Nabai prophet, the prophet test Yahuwah has chosen. Hearken to the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
And the prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with the false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child is to get double portions. Jade's over there shaking his hands. Go ahead.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman. Pretty good stuff, right? Should we nail this one to the cross? It seems right. We live in a funky world, and I know back when I was a kid, the world was funky. I don't think it is as funky as it is now. It is just mess. But yeah, these are things that these laws are on the cross. So you're telling me a woman should wear a man's pants and a woman, that's the thing. You can't get rid of one law unless you just want to scrap them all, right? Who are we that we can say, well, this one law, this should be good. Let's keep this thing. Let's not keep this, right? All of them are absolutely astoundingly amazing. Continuing on. If you find a bird's nest with a mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back forgotten sheep in the field, leave with a stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of the 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, Feast of... Now, one thing I want to talk about real quick before we end on this is every man should be put to death for sin. I am very, very thankful for this because I see dear old mom, and she would have had us all killed, right? She's sitting there as a raging Gentile, eating her pork, loving it, making fun of those who don't. And unfortunately, dear old mom is not an anomaly. Dear old mom is the Christian religion in of itself. It's a lawless religion that does not value the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. And you will have Christians that are furious because you put value on these amazing laws and they don't have any value on it. So they're like, oh, you're a Sadducee, you're a Pharisee, obviously. When they don't realize that Pharisees and Sadducees weren't Torah keepers themselves. They were a part of another religious institution that added to and take away from the words of our Creator. All right, let's get up here. Okay, all right, let's get into this. We are heading into Leviticus. Okay, 25. And here we are. Jade, take us back through where we are at throughout Leviticus, right here.
So we are in the beginning of Leviticus. We learned about the temple and type of sacrifices. We learned about the children of Aaron, how they are the high priest, and they are to forever be the high priest. And we learned about their sacrifice they have to do and what we have to do for the Levites and what they do for us. We also learn about our days of our appointed times throughout the years. And we are to the point where Moses is giving us commands on what to do, how the Levites should do it. They're basically our doctors, how they take care of us, and what we should do when we get sick. And basically, we are here getting more commands. And last time we were talking about people who kill people, or eye for an eye, and we get the famous, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
Yep.
And so here in Leviticus 25, continue on from there.
All right, and I want to go back here into chat real quick. And Sister Barb said something, and I didn't see it because it went on screen, but she says radios disconnected ours. No music in our house except private from Yahuwah singers. No TV on with music spells popping in and out. And it stores when music comes on overhead, we hum Alleluia. I think she hit this on the head exactly out of this. I don't think there is such a good thing as music. And even, all of these things, it's called television programming for a reason, right? When we're stuck with this all-seeing eye of Satan that is the sleep snatcher of doom, we are literally taking in programming. We are becoming lesser of people than we should be because we are getting indoctrinated by the world. Now, how do we stop this? Well, we do what Sister Barb says, and disconnect the radios and disconnect all this stuff, take all this stuff out. And, this is something, there's a few songs that I listen to that I probably need to get rid of as well. As you find them, I don't think there's anything from the world that is there that is not, we just shouldn't be there. And so Sister Barb has that completely good. And then Rebecca Rez says this: we got rid of our TV in 2006. Before I even came to the truth, I have never regretted it. And yes, if you guys are able to, and this is like one of these things that a lot of people aren't going to be able to, because just like heroin, TV, electronics, and video games are just like heroin. It's just like mass amounts of coffee. If you want to stop drinking coffee and you don't think coffee is a drug, try stopping drinking coffee. You will have the shakes, you will have headaches, your body is fiending for it. Just like the endorphins that come from that filthy world of Facebook, the filthy world of social media, the filthy world that is all around us, right? It is a mess. And so if you guys are able to get rid of the digital heroin, like Rebecca says, I don't know if I said that right, Rebecca, I think that's her name, Rebecca. If you're able to do it like that, that's the way to do it. The biggest damage I ever did to my kids growing up is putting them in front of that TV. And I will tell you that they're 21 years old right now, and the damage I literally did to them is visible in today's world because I was a derelict parent. And so if you guys can take my broken path where I tried to get my kids in a different path, I didn't know TV was great evil back when I was raising them. I did not realize that all of these things on the radio and all of these things that once I program my kids with this, they have it forever. In fact, my kids will tell me stuff like right now, they're like, hey, this guy is a singer of this band or something like that. How did you guys even know this? I didn't teach you guys this. We didn't know this, but somehow grabbed onto this stuff outside of it and they've jumped into it. And guys, we are a very tight-knit family. We live within you can see everybody's room. We're right here, and the kids have grown up, but they never left. So I can tell you we have definitely damaged the kids by TV and putting it there. Okay, so here we are. Let's get into, yes, it's Rebecca. Okay, thanks, Rebecca. Okay, let us begin. Leviticus 25. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe on Mount Sinai, saying, speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you come into the land which I give you, then the land shall observe a Sabbath to Yahuwah. 6 years you sow your field, and 6 years you prune your vineyard and gather in its fruit. But in the 7th year, the land is to have a Shabbat of rest, a Shabbat to Yahuwah. Do not sow your field and do not prune your vineyard. Jaden, what does that just say?
We are talking about giving our land rest, and rest. This is called the Yovel.
Yeah, this is called the Jubilee, and so there's two sets of Jubilees. There's a every 7 year, and then a 9 and 50 year Jubilee that we're about to read. And this was one of the big things that when the southern tribes went into captivity, when you read Hosea, when you read the prophets that are talking about this, what they didn't do is they did not give their land rest. They were not observing the laws, statutes, and commandments. And so our Creator threw everybody into captivity for 70 years, and that gave the land rest. Okay, so continuing on, 5. This is what our Creator says through the mouth of Moshe. Do not reap what grows of its own of your harvest, and do not gather the grapes of your unpruned vine, for it is a year of rest for the land. Pay attention, Jade, so I can drill you on this. Okay, and the Shabbat of the land shall be to you for food, for you and for your servant, and for your female servant, and your hired servant, and for the stranger who sojourns with you, and for your livestock, and the beasts that are in your land. All its crops are for food. And you shall count 7 Shabbatov of years for yourself, 7 times 7 years, and the time of the 7th Shabbatov of the years shall be to you 49 years. So, Jade, what did this just say?
So basically, it says basically the 7th year is everything's for food, right? The 6th year you have all your stuff, you're gonna grow double, and then the 7th year you have your food for everyone, it's for livestock, for everything. You don't grow anything, you leave it alone. And then he says 7 times 7 of years, which is 49 years, you're going to have another big, a really big jubilee, a big Shabbat.
Yeah, and in these years, there's a blessing that things are going to be grown more. So this is something that I don't know if we could ever figure this out in the day and age. I would say if you're a farmer in this day and age, you would never know what the Jubilee year is, but you would definitely want to keep the Yah's Farmer's Almanac, right? The Yah's Farmer's Almanac is that your land will be way stronger, everything will be much better when you give it that 7th year of rest. Just like humans, 7th day of rest. Just like all of this, right? Our Creator goes in 7s and 50s, and this is how you can tell this is all from Him. Okay, is it 8 or 9?
8, 9.
You're on 9.
9. Okay, you shall then sound a ram's horn to pass through on the 10th day of the 7th month on Yom HaKippurim, cause a ram's horn to pass through all of your land. And you shall Kodesh the 50th year and proclaim a release throughout all the land to all its inhabitants. It is a jubilee, it is a yovel for you. And each of you shall return to his possession, and each of you return to his clan. The 50th year is a yovel to you. Do not sow, nor reap what grows of its own, nor gather from its unpruned vine. Excuse me. All right, so what is our rules and regulations for the 50th year?
Well, we don't sow the land, we don't reap, we don't do anything with the plants of the land, with any crops. We just basically let the land rest. We don't plant any seed. We don't do this thing.
Yep, and we don't eat it. Whatever grows up on that, it's not for us to eat. It is a jubilee. It is a yovel. It is kodesh to you. Eat from the field its crops. In the year of this yovel, let each one of you to his possession. And when you sell whatever to your neighbor or buy from the hand of your neighbor, do not exploit one another. According to the number of years after the yovel, you buy from your neighbor, and according to the number of years of crops he sells to you. According to the greater number of years, you increase his price, and according to the fewer number of years, you diminish his price, because he sells to you according to the number of the years of the crops. All right, Jay, do you want to explain us what's happening?
So basically here we give back. So when you buy something from someone, at 50 years, it goes back. So you buy land or some kind of possession, it goes back to the original owner.
Yep, and there's a lot of things. There's something about the year 50 that is definitely special in the eyes of our Creator, because we're going to read about it here. But not only do we, and what this is saying is, throughout the land of Yisrael, you have the ability to kind of sell off your land. But if you are to the point, I mean, basically you never sell it. Right? You sell it, but at the end, whenever 50 years comes around, whenever Jubilee comes around, and the person wants it back, you have to redeem it. Or if somebody wants it back prior to the Jubilees, this is basically essentially a loan system inside the land of Israel. Say, for instance, you had a big plot of land, you decided you didn't want to work it, but you would sell it to a dude in year 30, right? And you had another 20 years for Jubilee. Then this guy would be sitting here and he would pay you for just the 20 years. But at the end of 20 years, the land comes back to you. It does not stay with this guy. It's not like the possessions that we have in the States where somebody buys it, or, and it goes on for generations. It goes back to the tribes of the people who it was. So I hope that makes sense out there. Okay. And do not oppress one another, but you shall revere your Elohim, for I am Yahuwah your Elohim. And you shall do my laws and guard my right rulings, and shall do them. And you shall dwell in the land in safety. And the land shall yield its fruit, and you shall eat to satisfaction, and shall dwell there in safety. And since you might say, what do we eat in the 7th year, since we do not sow, nor gather in our crops? Therefore I have commanded my blessings, my baraka, on you in the 6th year, and it shall bring forth the crop for 3 years. Okay, so right here you see an anomaly in the system that our Creator has given to people, because normally you're not going to get 3 years of crops in one. So as they were making it to a Jubilee and they are on their 6th year, all of a sudden these lands bring forth enough crops for 3 years. So instead of 100-fold, they have 300-fold or 400-fold. It is the blessings of our Creator that He watches out for His people and gives people the way, so that we understand what He's wanting. Okay, 22. And you shall sow in the 8th year and eat of the old crop until the 9th year, eat of the old crop until it comes in. So every 7 years, you have one of these years that is a Jubilee year, and our Creator puts food up there and he gets you so you are not going to be starving to death, so that the land in of itself is able to observe the Sabbath day. Okay, 23. And the land is not to be sold beyond reclaim, for the land is mine, for you are sojourners and settlers to me. And this was, I was explaining this as well, is you could sell your land, but it's never really sold. It's always yours when it comes back to a Jubilee. 24. And provide for a redemption for the land in all the land of your possession. When your brother becomes poor and has sold some of his possession, and his redeemer, a close relative, comes to redeem it, then he shall redeem what his brother sold. So this gives people outside the individual who essentially took the loan, other people outside the family, or basically anybody, could come and help this guy redeem it. So basically they would come to the guy that he had sold the land to, you would pay for whatever time was left or whatever it was, and you would make a deal and that land would go back. So it's a kind of a strange thing, because you never really truly buy your own stuff there if you have been given to it as a birthright. 26. And when the man has no one to redeem it, but he himself becomes able to redeem it, then let him count the years since its sale, and return the remainder to the man to whom he sold it, that he shall return to his possession. Okay, so this is just a way that people can get their stuff back. They're not just take the money and go and they have nothing, no land or anything. Our Creator wants to make sure that his people are taken care of for generations, not just a generation, but for generations. 28. And if his hand has not found enough to give back to him, then what was sold shall remain in the hand of him who bought it until the year of Yovel. And it shall be released in the Yovel, and he shall return to his possession. Okay? Just a basic understanding of this loan system. 29. And when a man sells a house in a walled city, then his right of redemption shall be the end of the year after it is sold. His right of redemption lasts a year. Now, this is a big thing, right? This is something that is, Jay, do you remember this part? Where, what is?
So this is basically this person who sells it inside of a city, they are able to redeem it within 1 year.
Yeah,
And
if they don't.
It tells you the next.
Okay, sorry. Okay, then we'll go to 30. So basically what it's saying is if you're in a city and you sell your house, you basically, the redemption lasts a year. But if it's not redeemed within a complete year, then the house in the walled city shall be established beyond reclaim to the buyer of it throughout his generations. It is not released in the Yovel. So here's something different, right? We're talking, and we're not talking about a plot of land. We're talking about a house inside of a city that if you decide you're selling this house, you have a 1 full year that you can come back at any one point in this year that you can redeem it. You can pay back what it was for this house, and you can get your house back. But if inside 1 year you do not come and buy your house inside the city, it's gone. It's beyond reclaim. And so this is what, these are the rules and regulations for city life, for the concrete kingdom versus those who are in the countryside. Okay, continuing on. 31. The houses of villages, however, which have no wall around them, are reckoned as the field of the country. A right of redemption belongs to it, and they are released in the Yovel. Okay, so what did that say, Jake?
So basically, it's different between like when you're in a walled city and when you're outside, like in a, I guess, a field, like a village would be in like a jungle or something.
Yeah, it'd be like
But
a village with no walls,
basically, you have more time with a village than you would with inside a walled city. A walled city, you get a year.
Well, you get more. You get, if you are outside of the village and the village has no walls, if you sell it, you always have a right of redemption.
Right, and then 50th year, you'll get it back.
50th year, it's redeemed.
But if it's in the walled city, you have 1 year and that's it.
That's it. Yep, your house is gone. Okay, 32. As for the cities of the Levites and the houses in the cities of their possession, the Levites have a right of redemption forever. Okay, the Levites have totally different set of rules because the Levites' job were to administer Yah's ways to the people, right? This was our people. This is how back in the day we got sins atoned for, how we had a communication with our Creator in a way that we didn't know. So when the Levites, the priests of the time, when they did any kind of this selling of their land or anything, they always have a right to get it back. So very, very different distinctions. 33. And that which is redeemed from the Lewites, both the sale of a house and the city of his possession, shall be released in the year of Yovel, because the houses and the cities of the Lewites are their possession in the midst of the children of Israel. And again, it's in the midst of the children of Israel, so that they can administer to the people of Israel, which is why you wouldn't want to get rid of the priest and kick him out and lose your priest. 34. But the field of the cities is not sold, for it is their everlasting possession. Okay, we're talking about the Lewites, right? We're talking about that you cannot, the open land of it's not sold. It's just theirs. You cannot sell it. And when your brother becomes poor and has failed you, then you shall sustain him, and he shall live with you like a stranger or a sojourner. Here's a huge thing, and this is why he knows the broken, he knows the non, he knows those who are in prison, he knows those who are not, he knows everything, and he knows what you need. And so here is something that when we have people around us, right, our brother's poor, he's about to be on the street, then we're to take them in, right? We're to sustain them. We're to have them live with us. And I would say that we know our brothers and our sisters because we know from our Messiah that our brothers and sisters are the ones who are keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. So if you just find some dude on the street that is, you have no idea who he is, and you're trying to figure out if this is your brother or not, I'm not saying that you shouldn't bring them into your house, but I would say be very, very careful. And this is not saying take, the heroin addict that is on the corner into your house, because you're not trying. What you're trying to do is you're trying to save your family in this event. This is a real brother. This is somebody who's very, very close, a child of the Most High. Okay, continuing on, we have rules that we are to take no interest from him or profit, but you shall revere your Elohim, and your brother shall live with you. So we're not to say, okay, come on, brother, let's come in and I want you to hang in here with us, but you're gonna, when you leave, I'm gonna need $1,000, right, for all the food and for any of the soap that I let you use. You went and laid on my couch or whatever. I need some money for that, right? That's not what we do, right? When we're trying to help the people to the point that when they go back on their feet, they can get on their feet and they're not always stuck there. All right. Let me go walk in his ways. When you have a bit more time, can you explain a bit more about the law of not eating the fat? Ground beef should be cut off, right? Boy, that is a tough question. Bottom line is probably, the answer would probably be yes, because they take everything and they grind that up into ground beef. So you have no idea if you're eating fat or not. Now, that leads me to people out there, probably like Sister Barb, who may have a better understanding of this, because that's one of these things that it's easy enough when you're looking at a steak and you can see a big old chunk of fat and you can cut the fat off. But down here they have like either lean hamburger or non-lean hamburger, and one is just like loaded up with fat. So I think you're probably right, but maybe somebody out there is Jeremy in here today?
Yeah.
Jeremy, what do you think on this? On the side of hamburger? Because I mean, essentially, we know there's fat in the hamburger, so I'm not going to say that yes, that's okay, but I'm sure, I don't know. That is a great question, and we eat hamburgers, and maybe we may do something different, because that is right. Mr. Cole, that's right?
Sister Barb says no grinding unless fat has been removed.
Yeah, and I mean, how would you even know? You would never, if you're just buying commercial hamburger that's out there. I mean, I've seen them when they grind hamburger up, and it's not just meat. It's like a whole bunch of white stuff, and it's a bunch of other stuff that like tendons and fat and all that little stuff, that chewy stuff that you get in your meat isn't necessarily fat. It's like I don't know, tendons. So yeah, Sister Barb, Brother Mark buys, what is it? Private slaughter beef. I stopped eating beef. I've seen one too many. Okay, yeah. So it looks like, and this is why I love this chat. I love having other people out there who have been through this. They take the blood fat.
No, you're farmer. There is burger that is quite lean.
Okay, so yeah, so I guess that would be one way to do it, guys, is to actually have a private butcher that is able to do that. But yeah, we have a command that's not to eat the fat, and I don't know how you would not be breaking this command, which is a really, really good thought. Here, maybe we won't have a hamburger here. I don't know. All right, well, let's continue on. Thanks a ton for that. Always great stuff here. 37. Do not lend him your silver on interest, and do not lend him your food for profit. I am Yahuwah your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim to give you the land of Canaan, to be your Elohim. And when your brother who dwells by you becomes poor and sells himself to you, do not make him serve as a slave, but as a hired servant and as a settler. He is with you and serves you until the year of the Yovel. It's a huge thing here, right, guys? A lot of people will fall on their luck, and they, as they will say it, I guess fall on the luck is probably a satanic saying, but they will fall on their ways and they will become enslaved. Like they will end up enslaved into something, and it's simply because they did not have the means to take care of themselves. And I've seen it over and over and over. I've seen a lot of people abused and used, especially the homeless people. The homeless people get owned a tremendous amount because of this. They end up becoming enslaved in some way. And so we have requirements on how we're supposed to treat people. And again, we're talking about qualifying our brothers and sisters as those who are Torah keepers, those who are covenant people, those who are in the law, statutes, and commandments. If you're just going and considering everybody your brother, that's going to get dangerous, right? Because you would have somebody who would do you damage in your own house. So 40. I hope I'm making sense of this. 40. And then he shall leave you, he and his children, the brother that was broken, even return to the possession of his fathers. For they are my servants, whom I brought out of the land of Mitzrayim. They are not sold as slaves. So our Creator has a huge distinction between the people that came out of Mitzrayim and the way that we had become in Mitzrayim, complete slaves, that we were not our own people. We could not do anything. And so our Creator does not want us enslaving people like that, especially the people of our Creator. And he continues on, do not rule over him with harshness, but you shall revere your Elohim, right? We're serving our brothers, and we're bringing them in because we have the love of our Creator and the love of his Torah. His Torah tells us we need to take care of them. And by that Torah is how we need to live and how we need to operate. Continuing on. And your female and male servants, slaves around. Excuse me, let me try that again. And your male and female slaves whom you have from the nations that are around you, from them you buy male and female slaves, and also from the sons of the strangers sojourning among you. From them you buy, and from their clans whom you are with, who are with you, which they shall bring forth in your land, and they shall be your property. Okay, these are hard things to understand because we don't live in a slave society anymore. We live in a much worse slave environment. Ever since we got the television, ever since we got the television, it has been another level of slavery. Ever since we got the video game systems, we have put our children into another form of slavery. Ever since we got these cell phones and we have our little kids with cell neck where they sit there and look at their cell phones and they fall into holes, they get run over by cars, they don't even know because they are zoned in on all of these little devices that without a shadow of a doubt, this is how I qualify whether something is of Yah or is it not. If what you are doing is taking glory away from the kingdom of our Creator, then what you're doing is not bringing the kingdom forward. And so if you are stuck in video games, if you are stuck in a slavement, this is what our Creator is talking about. Don't be a slave, right? A lot of people don't even know how to get off of Twitter. A lot of people don't know how to get off Discord. They're stuck on there, and it's just they're stuck. It's a drug. So continuing on. And you shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them as a possession. They are your slaves for all time, but over your brothers, the children of Israel, you are not to rule with harshness, one over another. Now when a sojourner or a settler with you becomes rich, and your brother with him becomes poor, and sells himself to the settler or sojourner with you, or to a member of the sojourner's clan, after he has been sold, there is a right of redemption to him. One of his brothers redeems him, or his uncle's son redeems him, or anyone who is a close relative to him in his clan redeems him, or if he is able, then he shall redeem himself. Now this talks about an outsider. This talks about a group of people who are not of the Yisrael, who are not Torah keepers. They do not keep the law, statutes, and commandments. And it's talking about a dude who goes down on a very, very bad time. And sometimes it's just easier to say, hey, enslave me and feed me, keep me fed, right? The story of the prodigal son, right? He was out there working in the pig slop, and he was thinking to himself, man, this stuff is looking pretty good at this point. So we have to understand that our Creator doesn't want us to be sold off to sojourners. We're not supposed to be sold off to the Gentiles per se, right? Because once you're sold off, you're under the hand of the Gentiles. If they want you to eat pork and unclean food, you're a slave. And so our Creator has given a way out that if there's a member of the family or anybody possible who can redeem this guy, to redeem him, or if this guy can redeem himself, he needs to redeem himself, right? We're not to remain slaves to the Gentiles. 50, and he shall reckon with him who bought him. The price of his release shall be according to the number of years, from the year that he was sold to him until the year of the Yovel, as the days of a hired servant, it is with him. If there are yet many years according to them, he repays the price of his redemption from the silver of his purchase. And if a few years are left until the end of Yovel, then he shall reckon with him, and according to his years, he repays him the price of his redemption. He is with him as a yearly hired servant, and he does not rule with harshness over him before your eyes. And if he is not redeemed in these years, then he shall be released in the year of Yovel, he and his children with him, because the children of Israel are servants to me. They are my servants whom I brought out of the land of Mitzrayim. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. Now, this is amazing because we want to be slaves of Yahuwah, right? We want to have him as our master. We want Messiah Yahushua as our leader. This is a good place of enslavement. And this type of enslavement isn't like the enslavement that everyone else thinks of, right? This is a good enslavement because we have a free will. It's not even enslavement at all. When you keep the laws, statutes, and commandments by your own free will, you are making the choice that you will not be a slave to Satan, that you will be a slave to the Most High. And slavery to the Most High is a beautiful thing. I love it. I love being a slave to him. I love being under his laws, statutes, and commandments. I love it. And so if you guys want to have an enjoyment of life that is a set of rules and guidelines, I would say enjoy the beautiful enslavement of the kingdom. And again, I'm probably putting this right because it's not enslavement. I am a voluntary slave to this system. I am happily going into this, and it's really not slavery. When you look at it, it is complete freedom. Torah is freedom. Torah is it's real true freedom, because when you understand Torah, you understand what sin is. And sin is what gets us in all this trouble. And if we don't know what sin is, then we're not going to be able to defend ourselves against such a thing. Okay, let us go. Eli, wake up. Okay, Matthew, please. And the sick kids are even sleeping more than normal. Okay, here we are. Now, Jake, we're into the book of Matthew, guys. Thank you guys for sticking around with us. Thank you for reading this stuff. We get to rambling sometimes, but it is a great group of people, and it's I'm just reading stuff here. Jay, take us on Matthew. What's going on? Where we're at? Matthew 24 was amazing. Matthew 24 told us about the end times.
Yeah, we got a lot of prophecy.
All right, hit us.
So we are the later days of Yehoshua's ministry, in the days where he already has disciples. He's made enemies to the Pharisees. They are threatening to kill him. They are plotting and planning how to destroy him because he's going against their traditions. And Yehoshua is giving parables, teaching the people, healing, doing miracles, things people have never seen before. Now it's everywhere. Every time someone gets sick, they immediately want to go to Yehoshua, and he's healing a lot of people. And he gave a lot of prophecies in the last chapter, and we are again with a little bit more parables.
Yeah, I'm just reading the comments. Yeah, it's love reading these comments in there. Joanna's talking about her grandchildren put D&D on their phones and they don't answer calls. Yeah, that's the thing. People don't answer calls, right? They're stuck on these phones. You know where the people are. They're behind these little devices. That's not good, Joanna. Much love. We will definitely be praying, and it's tough. It's tough when we see all of our families destroyed before our eyes. Dear old mom laughing and disrespecting the word of Yahuwah, disrespecting him so badly. I know what her future is going to be, and she absolutely deserves it. She hates the Creator. Okay, let's go right here. Matthew 25. Then the reign of the Shamayim. This is Messiah Yahushua. This is Jesus Christ, as those who probably don't know who Yahushua is. There's no J's in Hebrew. The letter J did not appear until the 1500s. There's no J sound in Hebrew. So we have a man who is not, his Hebrew name was Yahushua, Yeshua. I know there's a lot of different ways, but it's far closer than where they say Jesus. This is what he says. 1. Then the reign of the Shamayim, the reign of heaven, the reign of the kingdom, shall be compared to 10 maidens who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. We've all heard this one. Let's focus. And 5 of them were wise and 5 foolish. Those who were foolish, having taken their lamps, took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their containers with their lamps. All right, let's talk about this real quick. What is oil? What would the oil in their lamps be? How do we put this to today's world?
I would say that was the law, the Torah.
Yeah, like dear old mom, my dear old mom, I don't think she has any oil in her lamp, right? She doesn't care anything
Completely
about
empty.
it. She's waiting for Jesus to come. She's waiting for the mythical rapture to come and take all of the good pork-eating Christians to heaven, where they will sit on their clouds and they will play fiddles and things of that nature. But when we look at scriptures, there's no place in there. So I don't know where they get this. Okay, so we have these people, and they have oil. We know that the oil, the only way that we can light things is with the Torah. The Torah is light before our eyes. Now, 5, while the bridegroom took time, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight a cry was heard, "See, the bridegroom is coming. Go out to meet him." Then all those maidens rose up and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, "Give us of your oil, because our lamps are going out." But the wise answered, saying, "No, indeed, there would not be enough for us and you. Instead, go to those who sell and buy for yourselves." And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding feast, and the door was shut. Now, who is the people that believe they are the bride of Christ?
Christians.
Christians. Yes, the Christians are all the bride of Christ. You hear it all the time. They're like, "Oh, we love Jesus. We love him. Jesus he gives us grace. He gives us mercy." And the Christians will say you can pray to him, which you cannot pray to him. That is not scriptural. And they will tell us all sorts of things. They will tell us that Jesus came and he took the beautiful first 5 books of scriptures and he nailed that to the cross. And he says, "You know what, guys? Have fun." That's not what he said at all. And so when we do not have oil, we do not have the Torah, and our lamps go out because we have nothing. We don't have anything to tell people, right? As the Christian rhetoric is, just raise your hand, say a prayer, "Jesus, come into my heart. I love you, and I'm here." And then they say that nobody will ever be able to snatch us out of the palm of our Creator, of the Father. Yet Messiah clearly says in Matthew 7 that those who are Torahless go to hell. In fact, he says it twice in that chapter, but yet nobody seems to care. Okay, where are we at, anyone?
I think you are on.
You're 11.
11. Okay. And later, the other maidens also came, saying, "Adonai, Adonai, open up for us." But he answering said, "Truly, I say to you, I do not know you." Okay, is this an invitation in? Is this a welcome to the kingdom? Welcome, my brothers and sisters. I love you all, my faithful, law-keeping, Yahuwah loving, obedient family. No. Open up for us, right?
No, this is a.
I don't know you.
Hard for me, you worker of lawlessness.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. And all he's missing from Matthew 7 is, "I do not know you, you who work lawlessness," right? That's the same thing. So when we don't know the first 5 books of scriptures, then it's very clear our Messiah won't know us, and our Adonai Most High, our Elohim Most High Yahuwah, he's not going to know us either. And if we don't have Messiah Yahushua sitting there acting as an advocate for us, we're doomed. It's going to be game over. So, 13, watch, therefore, because you do not know the day nor the hour in which the son of Adam is coming, the Ben of Adam. For it is like a man going from home who called his own servants and delivered his possessions to them. And to one he gave 5 talents, and to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability, and went from home. And he who had received the 5 talents went and worked with them, and made another 5 talents. In the same way, he with the 2 also, he gained 2 more. But he who had received the 1 went away and dug in the ground and hid the silver of his master. And after a long time, the master of those servants came and settled accounts with them. And he who had received 5 talents came and brought, "You delivered to me 5 talents. See, I have gained 5 more talents besides them." And his master said to him, "Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You were trustworthy over a little. I shall put you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." That's what these words you want to hear, right? Enter the joy of our master. Those are words, if we don't hear them, are going to make us very, very sad. 22. Then he who had received the 2 talents came and said, "Master, you delivered to me 2 talents. See, I have gained 2 more talents besides them." His master said to him, "Well done, good and trustworthy servant. You were trustworthy over little. I shall put you over much. enter into the joy of your master. And the one who had received the 1 talent also came and said, Master, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And being afraid, I went and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is yours. And his master answering said to him, You wicked and lazy servant, you knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. Then you should have put my silver with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received back my own interest. Therefore, take away the talent from him and give it to him who possesses 10 talents. Okay, listen, I guess we'll, do we talk or I hit 29 first? Let's do 29. For to everyone who possesses, more shall be given, and he shall have overflowing. But from him who does not possess, even what he possesses shall be taken away. All right, anybody who's coherent in listening to this, what are we talking about? What is the talatin?
That is the Torah.
That is the Torah.
That is the word.
That is the word of our Creator. And the word of our Creator has been given to all of us. And we all have an opportunity to do a few things with it. Number 1, we can ignore it. Number 2, we can listen to it and then ignore it. Or we can just completely not care. Or we can listen to it, take it to heart, change our life and walk in the Torah, and then encourage others as well. So we have been given a voice. We have been given an opportunity. We have been given an eye-opening experience of knowing the Torah. Right now, if you guys are out there, if you guys know what I'm talking about when I say the love of the Torah is the greatest thing ever, and you know what I mean by that, that is the same things that we need to shout out to the rest of the world, because nobody sees this value in Torah. Everybody thinks it's the old words of Moses. This is something from back in the days. But you don't have a single religion. There is not a single religion falling under hundreds of thousands of religions out there that say all of the scriptures is my doctrine. You don't have it. You have Seventh-day Adventists, right? They keep 1 or 2 commandments. You have the Mormons. They don't keep anything. Their doctrine is completely jacked up. You have Catholics. They have men that are absolving them of their sins. I could go on and on and on when it comes down to religion, and nobody teaches Torah. Nobody says, look, guys, we have a set of guidelines that our Creator has given to us that is amazing, ecstatic, and something that we should live by, our family should live by, and everything. It is up to us to shine these lights. It is up to us that when our Messiah comes back and asks us, show me your talents, we've all been given one. We started off with one. We started with the Torah. And as we start reading the Torah, we start gathering more and more and more. And if we have not done anything with it, if we've just taken this to our own advantage and we have not shouted it out to all the deprived people of this world that are living in sin happily, then we're not doing it. Our master's going to come back and go, look, you're not trying to build my kingdom. You're not trying to bring the people to my kingdom. As I said, we've been called to fish for men. That is what our Messiah has told. When his disciples were out there and they threw the net to the other side and they caught in 153 fish. 153 means sons of Elohim in Hebrew gematria. And the entire thing that our Messiah was telling his disciples when they were out there fishing is that he wants us to fish for men. And food will be given to us. It will be sustained. But the soldiers of the kingdom are us. We are the people that need to make this kingdom come by telling everybody, by shouting this out, by not hiding it under a bushel. Let's continue on. Where is that? 30 guys?
30.
30. Okay, so what's going to happen to them? Let's do 29 and a half. But from him who does not possess, even what he possesses shall be taken away, and the worthless servant out into the outer darkness there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Whenever we hear about the Sheol, whenever we hear about hell, it's always bad things, right? You can read all through scriptures, even the book of 2nd Ezra. We can read through the book of Enoch. You can read through all these extracurricular books that tell us a lot about eternity and about it. And the about it is that when we go to the place of gnashing of teeth and weeping, it sounds like a place that's permanent. It doesn't sound like a place we come out of. But by our own hands and by our own choice, we have made that decision. We have chosen either the kingdom or we've chosen the world. If we are happy watching Hollywood, if we are happy watching TV, if we're happy allowing our kids to rise up and be crazy Gentiles, we're going to a place that we deserve, which is the gnashing of teeth. Now, continue on, Messiah says this. And when the son of Adam comes in his esteem, and all the Kodesh messengers with him. Then he shall sit on the throne of his esteem. And all the nations shall be gathered before him, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd separates his sheep from the goats. Okay, so question is to you guys, are you on the sheep or the goats? Who are you guys? Where are you at with your life? And he shall put the sheep on his right hand, and the goats on the left. Then the sovereign shall say to those on his right hand, come, you blessed, you Baruch of my Father, inherit the reign prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Okay, I don't know about the rapture. I don't know anything that the Christians have. They tell us that Jesus is the bus driver of this bus, and everybody hits this rapture train. It doesn't matter if you're living in sin. It doesn't matter the time in the world. It matters that we're not going to have any tribulation until this rapture comes, and we're going to be out of this world. Well, there's a few more things that we're talking about here. And right out of the gate, the people on the left hand it doesn't sound very good what's happening to them. Now, the people on the right hand, it says, come you blessed of my Father, inherit the reign prepared for you. What reign? What are we talking about? Well, we're talking about the second Jerusalem. We're talking about the new kingdom, the city of Elohim that comes down on Mount Zion. That is our where we're going to go. If you're looking for a rapture, we're looking for a town. We're looking for a city that's going to be way up high. It's going to be some amazing spiritual thing that's coming down. Now, before we go in this next section, I would like to talk about my brother in chains, one of my brothers. And I was talking to him the other day, and he's been in death row now for 26 years in Texas. And he quoted me this verse, and he says, it's funny that all the Christians have this stuff, but nobody comes and sees him. Because he says, Messiah says this about himself, for I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in, was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. Now, it's very interesting that, I get a lot of lectures from the guys on death row. It's the strangest thing, but sometimes I come away extremely offended, and I probably shouldn't, because these guys are stuck in a cage. They never leave their cage. 24/7, they're in a 9x4 room, and maybe once a week they get wrecked for 1 hour, so they get to leave their cell. But they've been in there for years and years and years. And so this brother was telling me this verse. He's like, what do you make of this, man? I was in prison, you came to me. This is, if we are looking for the way of our Creator, the way of our Creator is seeking those who are busted up. It's seeking those who are in the ditches, in the trudges, in the trenches, those who we're able to throw a hand to. And a lot of us included, we're in those trenches. We were in this extreme road to hell. And it's one of these things that there's qualifications. There's things as people of the kingdom that we have to do to be worthy of this kingdom. And a lot of it is about love. A lot of it is about taking these people in, right? When was the last time, and I'm just shouting this out to everybody in the chat, when was the last time any of you guys sat down with a homeless person or bought say 25 hamburgers at the 25, there's the hamburger thing, the 25 hamburgers at the hamburger joint and given them to a group of homeless people and sat with them, right? There's every different way, and I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. I'm saying that if we use our eyes, there is a tremendous amount of places that we can heal the world, where it's things where we heal them with love. We heal them with compassion. We show them the kingdom example because we're showing them our heart and that we're truly taking care of them. And so I want to also throw that to anybody that is looking to help out in the prisons. We have a heck of a prison ministry that's going right now, and there's a lot of dudes and gals that would love to hear from anybody that is out there. And I would especially encourage Torah keepers to get involved in this prison ministry. I know the Grand is out there. The Grand, Graham has changed lives over and over and over. You have no idea the kind of witnessing and the kind of strength that our lady that's right here in our chat has done, because she sends, I don't know how many tremendous amounts of emails to these guys. And I will actually hear, if they don't get a message from her, they're like, do you know where she's at? I'm worried about her. And I'm like, well, things are a little slow sometimes on the outside world. So there's a place for everybody for this particular spot of I was in prison, came to me. We can come to everybody by simply at 25 cents. We can get a letter into these guys and they would love you for life. 37. Then the righteous, Messiah is like, when I was in prison, I was in all this stuff, you didn't take care of me. Then the righteous shall answer him, saying, Adonai, when did we see you hungry and we fed, or thirsty and gave to drink? And when did we see you a stranger and took you in, or naked and clothed? And when did we see you sick or in prison and we came to you? And the sovereign shall answer and say to them, truly I say to you, insofar as you did to one of the least of these, my brothers, you did it to me. This is huge, guys. This is absolutely huge. This is our Messiah. This is the king. This is the leader of the free world that is coming. Our free world is the Torah world. That's the free world that I'm talking about. When we talk about this, when we take care of those who are broken, who are busted, who are in the trenches, and we're doing it out of love, and we're not doing it for the glamour of men, we're not looking for pats on the back, when we're looking for the ability to heal people that are broken, I will tell you without a shadow of a doubt, of all these people that I've gotten into death row, that I'm a little late. I'm 25, 26 years later than some of these guys. But some of these guys are extremely responsive to me. Serial killers, thugs, murderers, all these people that have done crazy, tremendous stuff. They're reaching out. They're reading the scriptures. They're doing the will of our Creator. And how do we find them? We found them in the trenches. We found them suffering in a place that I would say it's hell. The death row of Texas is definitely a place of hell. 41. He shall then also say to those on the left hand, go away from me, accursed ones, into the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his messengers. Okay, we got the goats that just were on the left hand. They just got sent to hell. And that's something you don't tell Christians, because Christians don't believe that they can ever go to hell. They believe what they do, they're always going to get this magical rapture train. Okay, 42 says, for I was hungry and you gave me no food. I was thirsty and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger and you did not take me in, was naked and you did not clothe me, sick and in prison and you did not visit me. Then they also shall answer him, saying, Adonai, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not serve you? Then he shall answer them, saying, truly, I say to you, insofar as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into everlasting life. So here we have the everlasting punishment, right? This is the Gehenna, the Sheol, the bad part of the Sheol, the holding container. The is the rich man and Lazarus. The rich man's like hot. Things are a little warm down here. If only I could go back and I could tell him of the living. Abraham's like, if they didn't listen to the words of Moses, they're not going to listen to you being a ghost and all. And so, guys, here we are. We have one life that we have that we can make this kingdom. We have one opportunity to seek our Creator where He's able to be found. And beyond that, it's on us. It is on nobody else. None of us are going to be able to sit there and blame the Creator of the universe. According to the book of Nazarene, our Messiah talks about this inner feeling that everybody has, this urging, this thing like you should be looking to the light, you should be seeking righteousness, you should be doing something more than you're doing. And a lot of people in their life will completely ignore it. They won't listen. They don't care. It's not interest to them. And so it's going to be on us when we don't make the kingdom. It's going to be on us for being lazy people and not care, right? You look around us and somehow a beautiful creation is all around us. They've spun a yarn of the big boom and the big bang when it's obvious there is a Creator who has designed this masterfully. And it is with that masterful design that I would like to encourage all of you to be loyal to that great designer, to the great engineer, to the great Elohim Most High, because He gave us a plan and He gave us a walk and He gave us grace. He gave us mercy. And He didn't give us grace and mercy to live in sin. He gave us grace and mercy to come out of the darkness and to be called to His people. And His people are a different group of people. His people are the people that are covenant bound. We love Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and all of Scriptures. They are everything in our life. So with that, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful Shabbat. Thank you so much to everybody who made it to the end of this. We love you all. And Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yehovah baruch you and guard you. Yehovah make His face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yehovah lift His face upon you and give you peace. Thus they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I myself shall baruch them.
Okay. All right. Much love, fam.
Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Let the mountains shake, let the earth be moved, let the nations may tremble at your presence. Let your fire burn, let the waters burn, let your name be known to this generation, and come down. That you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Will you restrain yourself any longer? Don't hide your face in your anger. When Jerusalem is oppressed by the nations, the place of your throne, a destination, come down.
All right, brothers and sisters, may Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May his grace forever embrace your life. May the Torah be a part of everything in your lives. And may we all high five each other at the kingdom to come on the day when our Messiah comes and gets us out of here. Much love to y'all.
Shabbat Shalom.